Bam, in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boo! Wouldn't you know it? It's the first episode during the regular season of the improbable. Some called it the impossible, but damn it, it's happening. 2020 NFL season, and it is the JB and Benny Blue Review podcast for your listening pleasure. Follow us at JB and Benny Blue, jbandbennybluereview.com for all past episodes, content, and merch. New Hog Talk coming this week, answering some questions, and JB's going to break down some clips from these past couple weeks to see where these sets went right and where they went wrong for some of his faithful in the O-line hog trenches. So make sure to stick around for that.
Young hogs.
Yeah, we're on all streaming platforms. Subscribe and like to our YouTube channel. We are growing that with more content and all that good stuff. Savage Picks coming on IG Live tomorrow. First and foremost, we got to salute our guy, a dear friend of the podcast, special boxing correspondent, the ultimate Savage. Happy birthday to our guy, Kevin Robinson. And to celebrate, make sure, as JB knows, to check out his new book, The G Code. He's been working on that book for I've been friends with Kev for a decade plus, and he's been working on that book for many years. It's finally out. It's on Amazon, all book streaming services. You got the audio book, too, if you want to listen to it. It's good life game, especially being a man in these dark, twisted, fucked up times. Get the game to stay solid. Pick up The G Code. We're going to include that information here in our show notes as well. And you saw that on our Twitter at JB Benny Blue. I'm back in LA. JB's in the desert looking like he manages somebody from Rockefeller Records in his clean, fresh, Yankee fitted. You know what I'm saying? How are you feeling, sir? What are you seeing out in these sports streets? How do you feel now that we're back in the swing of things? And we had a lot of shit happening at once. Sports wise, there's a lot of shit happening.
A lot of things going on. I feel great, man. It's just good to be able to turn the TV on and turn to sports, unlimited sports. It's great, right? It's phenomenal. I love it. I'm ecstatic. I predicted it, right? Knew the NFL would be back. I told you guys it would be weird for the first 5 or 6 weeks, and it's gonna be. Those fans are gonna trickle into those stands here pretty soon, and then before you know it, we'll be right back to where we were. Maybe not full 100%, but at about 65 to 70% of what we're used to, with fans being in attendance and sports teams doing their thing. We got NBA playoffs going on. We got the Denver Nuggets facing the LA Lakers. The old Clippers got eliminated.
Ooh, tricked it off.
Shout out to Marcellus Wiley, man, our guy, friend of the podcast. Benny, I told you a while back, right? I said it on our podcast. I said the only team that was going to win a championship in the greater LA area was going to be the Lakers, right? I told you that, right? I told you. I just knew it, man. To me, a weird, horrible, weird feeling about the Clippers. They remind me a lot of the Atlanta Falcons, right? And what I say about that is the Atlanta Falcons are loaded with talent. Like, let's get you real. Julio Jones, you know what I'm saying? Now they got Todd Gurley over there. Matt Ryan's not a starting quarterback. The defense got a lot of no-name guys on it, but I mean, they're a talented team. They always go to the playoffs, never succeed. All right. So I get the same vibes from the Clippers. Right? I knew that. I was like, I just don't see. Kawhi's still not an alpha to me, right? And then Paul George has never really been considered, to me personally, that just elite basketball player. Like, he's a star, but he's just not that elite basketball player. And it's like, now who's gonna take the reins, right? Who's gonna be the motherfucking? Who's gonna be the man? Like, who's gonna be that guy? And neither one of them really wanted to step up to the plate and say, "Hey, let's win these last two." Yeah, Denver's serious, but I'm Kawhi Leonard, you Paul George. Man, let's go and take this thing over.
Right.
They both kind of fills it off into the background. Next thing you know, Denver Nuggets have beat them and headed to the Western Conference Finals, where they're facing again the Lakers right now. Down 2-0, but I mean, it's kind of to be expected with when you're playing the Monstars from Space Jam. That's basically what they are, right? So NBA basketball going on. We know it's cracking. Miami, shout out to them, man. Shout out to Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Buckets in the squad, man. You talking about a hard playing basketball team. they fight, claw, fight to the end, and it's gotten them to the Eastern Conference Finals. Boston, the more talented team, down 2-1 right now. Boston just, I don't know what to say, Benny. Boston going Boston? I don't know what to say, you know. They had to get the big three to win a championship, you know, when the last time they did win it. And I don't know, man. Boston going Boston. It seems like there's only one, well, for a long time, there was only one dominant sports team in Boston. That was the Patriots. You know, the Soxies had their little thing for a little minute back in the day. But, yeah, Boston is, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't really see them beating Miami. I think Miami would have to have another off night for them to go down, for Boston to tie it up 2-2. So we'll see what happens. I think today's Tuesday. I'm almost certain that Miami plays Wednesday, and then Lakers play Thursday, or vice versa. So,
well, Lakers play tonight.
Okay.
Yep.
So Lakers play tonight, and then so that's right. I knew one of them had a day off. So the Celtics and the Heat had a day off, so they play tomorrow. The Lakers and the Nuggets play tonight. Yep. Okay, yeah. So we say tonight is the 21st of September, 2020, in the year of our Lord. All right. So that's what we're talking about. That's when we're recording the show right now. All right. So you know, a lot of things going on in the news, Benny. Sports. One of the largest things going on, I think. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest things, and anybody overlooking it, everybody's kind of like, wow. Is our guy, friend of the podcast, the greatest sports personality ever in sports. I don't care what nobody says, and no sport excluded. Right? Wrestling has some great personalities. Deion Sanders, right? Probably the greatest sports personality ever. Right? Think about Deion Sanders would have been what he playing in the day and age of Stone Cold and The Rock and so on and so forth, where he was in his prime and social media was really budding and booming. Like, man, prime time. Still to this day, everybody knows prime time. So, man's 53 years old. Has recently taken a head coaching job at the Jackson State University. Right, that's in Jackson, Mississippi. The JSU Tigers, the HBCU college in the SWAC division of football. All right, which is a big thing, man. It's a really big deal, right? There's a lot of lineage and a lot of history down there at Jackson State. I want to go out on a limb and say they have 4 Hall of Famers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame that played at Jackson State University. Big time coach. He's a historic, one of the older coaches is super historic. But of course they gave us one of the greatest running backs that ever played the game in the NFL, Walter Sweetness Payton. And it's awesome for just HBCU in general, like the notoriety and the press and all these things that Deion and his big personality are going to bring to Jackson State University, which in turn is going to trickle down and is going to help other SWAC schools, even I'll say in better areas, right? Because Jackson, Mississippi, let's be real, Jackson, Mississippi is not the most desirable place in the world to go, right? Crime rate is crazy. Streets in the city is not taken care of very well. And, I mean, the outskirts of it is some very nice areas outside of Jackson, Pearl and Madison. So, you got that, Byram. But in Jackson, where Jackson State is, in the heart of Jackson, the city of Jackson, there's some work to be done. And I call them Pastor Prime, along with Coach Prime.
Yeah.
Says that they're going to get to work over there in Jackson, Mississippi, and they're going to try to enrich the community. And of course, big-time players to come play at Jackson State to regain that greatness. And shout out to them and congratulations to the Jackson State Tigers. And, man, Prime, who wanted to be a head coach in college for quite a while. And, we know there was a situation where he was kind of vying for the job out of Florida State. And, of course, they chose the guy that they chose. And we'll see how that goes here in the near future. But shout out to Primetime, his family. Big time move. Shout out to, again, Jackson State University, the state of Mississippi. And, man, big time. Some notables, right, on his coaching staff. Warren Sapp is D-line coach, right? Terrell Owens is a receiver coach, right? And then a few other names that if I name them, you probably wouldn't know. So, but yeah, it makes me wonder, Benny. Right? You know me, right? I know Deion Sanders is a great coach because he's been coaching for quite a while. Right? He's been head coach at the high school. He's coached all of his sons. And was currently coaching his youngest son who plays quarterback for, I forget name of school, Tristan or Trinity, a high school out in Texas, in the outskirts of Dallas. And so, but Terrell Owens, Warren Sapp, right? Two phenomenal football players, both Hall of Famers, right? Are they coaches though, right? Are these personalities going to clash in the coaching realm, right? It's one thing to be in the locker room with somebody and play with them. Another thing, in the coaching room is substantially smaller, and you guys have to come to agreement to make plans to develop success and successful culture, and to have success on those Saturdays or whatever respective day they play on. It's gonna be interesting to see. Like, it really is. When I saw that, I was like, okay, right. I don't know if that would have been my move of choice, but I know why he's doing it. He's getting names so that kids see names in recruiting. They're gonna be like, well, I'm gonna go play receiver at Jackson State because T.O. is the coach. Yep. Go play D-line at Jackson State because Warren Sapp is the coach. Are they good coaches? Yet to be seen.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it's funny you call them Pastor Prime. In this case, he might be Politician Prime. Because if you think about it, what he's doing, to use a biblical phrase, he's kind of the sacrificial lamb. Because obviously for decades and generations, players of color have been going to the big programs because, whether it was the scholarships or, let's be real, them money bags, that's where they've been going to take their talents. Now, what Prime is doing, like you said, he's trying to make it cool and fashionable for black players to go to institutions built for them. But he's the first one out the gate to do it. Nobody else is really, maybe other people have attempted it. We don't even know behind the scenes because it didn't get any press. But Prime is the first person of note to actually do it. So he's the perfect figurehead for running the program. That's what I think we talked about it when he was vying for the job with Florida State. Because I don't look at Prime as like an X's and O's coach. I know he can coach positions. I know he can get a team of men together. But I don't look at him as like drawing up a bunch of amazing plays. Not saying he can't do that. That's just not how I view him. And like you said, when you bring in the flashy names like T.O., like Warren Sapp, a couple other people, that's more of like, he's in his first year. All the players there aren't his guys. He needs to get a marketing campaign going to say, listen, I know you were thinking about going to Mississippi State or Ole Miss or, unfortunately Southern Miss to the top. Why don't you come here to Jackson State? Because, it's in the SWAC. You're not competing at that same level technically, but we're building something here, and we have the route and the connections to get you in the league. So I think it's actually gonna work well for him to recruit players that have more of a mind to get to the league. And I think that Prime is gonna do well with the JUCO and the transfer portal kids. I think he's gonna get a lot of those type of kids to hhis program.
Yeah, I read an article earlier, Benny, and it stated something along those lines that Deion Sanders is attacking JUCO ranks. I mean, right there in the area that he's in, he has Colin down the street. Yeah. So many JUCOs that are in the area.
EMCC, let's work.
EMCC, that's in school, but that's a little higher up the highway, Mississippi. But still, it's right there within a 4-hour drive. And so that's going to happen. That's going to happen fast. Right? That's going to be easy success, fast success. You know what I'm saying? Paying that investment is going to pay dividends really fast. Now, you're going to get some guys there. Can we get them to do what we need them to do on Saturdays, right? So it's yet to be seen. Shout out to Prime. It's amazing. It's awesome. It's great. Again, like I said, for the state of Mississippi, for Jackson State University, SWAC, because there are going to be others to follow, trust and believe. Right, they're going to get names from their schools, guys out there that are probably coaching and been coaching high school forever, offer them jobs, and they bring their name back to that respective university. Then that name does great things, and it's going to be a great build-up. And I think that's awesome because, a lot of these guys that are four-star athletes, right, that do the whole JUCO thing, that don't want to leave home or just, need more development or whatever, right? They have a great opportunity to go to a school and learn from some of the best, right? And like you said, it is a school that is made for my brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? So it'd be awesome for them young brothers to be able to go somewhere where they're going to be taken care of. I had an incident when I was coming out, being with one of my coaches, our defensive coordinator, and he didn't want me to go to a quote-unquote white university because he was like, well, white folk ain't gonna take care of you, yada, yada, yada. But I told him, I said, I'm too big for the swag. Those are my exact words. No knock against the swag, you know what I'm saying, because there are plenty of great players that came out of swag. But me personally, I worked too hard to not go to a Division I university, and I got recruited by too many schools.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So lucky Southern Miss, I chose them, you know what I'm saying, to fall through because they had everything I needed at that time, and for me to be able to stay close to my pops and my family. Like, so, yeah, I know how it goes, and like it's just getting better and better. The exposure avenues are wide open. They're 4 or 5 lanes now. Back when I was coming out, it was, you know, 2-lane road, one way to up.
Right. You're on ESPN 8 the Ocho watching swag games. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now with the social media and all the streaming sites and so on and so forth, these scouts are going to be able to see these kids in abundance. And I'm sure Deion Sanders is going to develop some kind of way for the SWAC itself to have combine or, you know, to have a pro day for those cats that went to HBCU, especially if they didn't get invited to the combine, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, because, I mean, look, it's going to be like I was saying a second ago, he's the first one through the door. There's a lot of work to be done to get them on that national prominence. So, you know, there's going to be position coaches and former players who see the success of Jackson State. They are going to get hired as the head at other programs. And listen, my bold prediction is that within the next 20 years, there will be a collection of HBCU teams. I know they have different conferences. My prediction is that within the next 20 years, they will be considered on the level of a Power 5 conference. Not every black player is going to go to an HBCU. That's just the reality of the situation.
No.
The reality is because of the nature of the, like you said, the stepping stone, you said it yourself, 1998, you're not going to fucking SWAC school when you're a Division I recruit. You're just not going to do it because you want to be seen. You know you have the talent to go to the next level beyond that. So now, once Deion gets to these first couple years, he's going to get his recruiting up because right now the cats there are cats who, quite frankly, if they played Bama, would get dusted the fuck out. But when he gets the talent
might be 100 or nothing.
Yeah, like 100 pieces for real. So, but when he gets actual talent that can run his system, then you're going to see the competition. And Prime has enough influence to go pick up the phone and call Nick Saban, call Dabo, call some of these guys, and get them. They'll play FCS schools. Even if it's a week 1 matchup, he can get on their schedule to let people know what time it is. By the way, Coach Bridges, before we move on, I don't know if you saw this. I think you did. And as always, our followers are good about hitting the like, hitting the retweet. Coach Prime said he was looking for dogs at position coaches. And as always, I'm known to put in your bid for O-line coach. So the question is, if Prime hits you in the DM, are you packing up your shit in the desert and going to Jackson State?
I would have to pray about it. I'm being real.
You're like, I'm from Mississippi. I'm like, I don't know.
Bingo. Just because
it's like me in Michigan. I'm like,
yeah, just because I'm from Mississippi, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back to Mississippi. I just don't, you know, whatever. But if, you know, I'll pray about it. If it's something that's gonna be, you know, if it's something that's on me, hell yeah, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Wherever I go, it don't matter where I go. My offensive line goes dope as hell. You know what I'm saying? So I love to, you know, an opportunity to go down there. But, you know, it would be a great starting coach opportunity, you know what I'm saying, for me to get my resume thicker and actually be considered a college coach, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, you know, if I prayed about it and you know, like, you know, God called me, you know what I'm saying, 1-800-COLLECT like he did Prime, you know what I'm saying, and be like, thou shalt go to Jacktown, right, and coach the O-line, then we out. Right.
And who knows? You could be running these. You could be the head man at one of these HBCUs that's turning into a power program. If that were the case, that could be the step up.
Hey,
you know the way in, baby.
Who knows? You know what I'm saying? No man knows. No man knoweth. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I'll tell you what we do know, goddammit. NFL's back. It was weird and surreal to get started. It's crazy. I honestly kind of like it to have NBA happen at the same time. That's weird. Obviously, most folks don't. I don't think it clicks to most folks that NBA should be long over by now. But it's kind of cool that we're getting it at the same time along with other sports. And damn it, let's get into it with our 2020 NFL season Week 1 and Week 2 Savage recap. Cue the music. First and foremost, JB, we'd be remiss if we didn't go over the standings in our For the People NFL.com fantasy. We are at the bottom of our division, 0-2. At the top of our division, we got Five Fingers Equals Slapped and the All About the Bleeds podcast. And in the Savages division, we got Base AZ and Bridges Brigade at 2-0. By the way, who is Bridges Brigade? I'm like looking at this. It has
that's also part of the All About the Birds. That's my man Nick. Nick. Is it not Nick? Is it Nick? Which one is it? Let's see my jersey. I always get him confused, man.
But he's paying tribute to you, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So
okay.
My man, where's Johnny?
Johnny U. Well, he's doing something right. He's 2-0.
My man Johnny U balling, you know what I'm saying? Hold down the Bridges Brigade.
Yep.
We out here.
Yep. And speaking of fantasy and how it relates to the actual game, JB, I got to tell you, I mean, I don't know. I mean, every year it's the injury bug. You can't escape it. But, I mean, Saquon Barkley, Joey Bosa, Paris Campbell, fucking Christian McCaffrey's banged up. Drew Lock is out for the year. I mean, what do you make of this happening this early? Do you attribute it to the weird off season and no preseason, or do you think it is what it is with injuries?
You know, it's a little bit of both. Because no man knows the time of the day injury's going to happen. None of them. Well, the only thing, like Bosa got bent the fuck up. Like that was, he just got his ass balled up into a piece of paper, right? And that's unfortunate. Saquon Barkley was one of those freak things because if you look at the play it happened on, he actually tore it before he even got hit or contacted. When he made a plant, you see his leg do some weird shit. And I know people, because people ask me like, man, how the hell you hurt an ACL? You that strong? This man box squats 600 pounds. And I was like, look, man, that ligament was so thick and put in a bad situation. Like, who knows? You know what I'm saying? No man, like I said, no man know the time of the day. So you can chalk it up to, it's just football, man. It's just football. It's unfortunate, and ain't never a season went by where we can be like, oh man, it's been a great season. There ain't been no injuries. That's not true. That's not even like, you know what I'm saying, reasonable or that's not it. So you're gonna have these injuries. You're gonna have them. Usually they happen early in the season. So I mean, we're getting the same shit, but of course, I say it all the time that football is like boxing in a sense where boxers, to get ready for a fight, they spar. Right? Football players, to get ready for football, we practice 3 days out of the week. We have training camp, get beat up, battered, bruised, learn to give hits, learn to take hits, or, reminded of how to give hits to take hits. So they've missed that because a lot of teams weren't hitting. A couple teams got to practice against other teams during the quote-unquote training camp. I mean, but you never know. You never know because just like a couple guys got hurt, notable guys got hurt. It's a bunch of guys that ain't notable that ain't getting hurt. The motherfuckers out there just going ham, and the sport goes on. Plain and simple, bottom line, point blank, period, the sport goes on, right? You had that in basketball. When the NBA started back, you had a lot of guys limping off the court, you know what I'm saying, the first 5 or 6, 7, 10 games they were playing, hopping off the court with, ankle boo-boos and knee boo-boos, and because they're just not accustomed to, that live action. It's different, right? Practice, you try to simulate as much as you can, a live atmosphere, but you can't do that because the game is what the game is, man. That's any sport.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're definitely right about that. It's going to happen when it's going to happen, and you're right. I think, like they say, you got to go full speed in the way they limit stuff in practice to begin with, and then the fact that you're not getting the reps in the preseason. I mean, Saquon's unfortunately, like you said, he tore it non-contact, and that just happens. I mean, look at Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater's career was fucked up for several seasons until he got finally to the point where he's a starter again from a non-contact injury. So it's what happens with these ligaments. Now, taking a look at the standings, and of course, we got to go in starting with the Birdgang. In the NFC West, the Cards, the Rams, and the Hawks are all 2-0. And I got to tell you, I mean, the Cards have been shot out of a cannon. I mean, Kyler Murray is Kyler Murray's really making some tight throws along the sidelines, finding different receivers. The O-line play is much improved, and the D-line's getting a surge. I mean, shit, the Cards are top 5 in sacks right now. So from 2 weeks' time, what are the good and bad that you've seen from the Boyd gang?
I'll start with the bad. The bad is Vance Joseph, our defensive coordinator. He puts us in fucked up positions when he doesn't need to. Calls defenses that shouldn't be called at the wrong time. I recall one play during the game last week when we beat the Washington football team. He called a corner blitz with Patrick Peterson, who was our best cover corner. Why would you do that on a play where they almost took it to the crib on this big catch and the receiver almost broke the tackle from our safety? It could have changed the flow of the game. Like, his decision making is bad to me. Cliff's play calling is getting better, right? It's getting better because at times he would call plays and you'd be like, why the hell did you do that? You just put us in a fucked up situation. So, Lil Man he's playing at a level now. He's getting on up there level-wise, you know what I'm saying, as far as like being one of the elite quarterbacks in our league. He's finally said, you know what? I really got to turn this loose and play the sport the way I know how to play it. Last year, he didn't run as much to me. And so you take that threat away from opposing defenses. You take that threat away when they're like, oh, he ain't going to take off running, or he's not going to do it as often, so we're not going to really sweat him. See, now, in the last 2 games, we have had design runs for Lil Man. Mm-hmm. Right? He's getting around that corner. You can barely see him, and he's in the end zone.
His goddamn legs. It's hilarious.
You know, and then he wears those white socks, so it's just like, I'm telling you, it's like straight Super Mario Brothers shit. So just all 3 phases, man, playing super hard. Like, that's one thing I can say. I mean, they're playing hard. They're playing together. This is a second-year team, a sophomore team, a sophomore head coach who has really bought into shit. They bought into it. Like, with the coaches are selling, they bought into it. Defensive line is doing so well because my man Brinson Buckner is back. The D-line coach, he's a monster. And, you know, he coached Calais, he coached Doc back in the day, you know what I'm saying, when they were having success. He went away with the Raiders last year, but they rehired him, smartly rehired him. And you see how aggressive our defensive line is now, just how aggressive the Raiders' defensive line was last year because of that man coach. And then the offensive line is getting better. I'm not going to say that they've arrived, but they're getting much better. The attitude, to me, has changed. They're not a bunch of, I mean, they just, like, last couple years, they just look soft, right? And I know these guys aren't soft. These guys are grown men, you know what I'm saying? Like, Sneaky's a tough guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? AQ Shipley, he's not there anymore, but Mason Cole, young, tough guy, you know what I'm saying? We got Beecham, who's a vet, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was a great addition to our offensive line. DJ Humphries is still suspect to me, but he's getting better. So, yeah, just a lot of pluses. And I think that I told everybody before the season started it was going to be how the West was won. Like, the West is the toughest division in football, period. Like, there's nothing else to talk about. Nobody wants to play the NFC West. Even San Francisco 49ers hurt San Francisco 49ers team. Nobody wants to play them, right? Don't nobody want to fuck around the West. We got shit on lock right now. And, I mean, that's not to discredit any other team. A lot of other teams are doing their thing, and they're balling and looking good. But, man, the West is crazy right now.
Yeah, and speaking of which, you led me to the next point. Speaking of the depth of that division, let's be honest, Dr. Bridges, you were cutting a bit of a promo on the Rams before the season started. I get it. There's going to be some bias there. You were saying that people have figured out Sean McVay, all that stuff. Well, they're playing some pretty good ball. They are top 5 in total yards, and they are, I mean, shit, they're doing well in other areas too. I mean, they're number 3 in rushing right now, which is kind of a surprise considering they got rid of Todd Gurley. So what have you seen from the Rams, and why do you think that they're having success thus far?
Attack. That's their mindset. Attack. They never play back. Right? And that's one thing I credit Sean McVay. Like, you know, I never discredited him and his talent. You know what I'm saying? I just think I think he called the same 5 or 6 players all the time. He did the last couple of years. That's why his ass got figured out. Mm-hmm. So he has to find a new way to be successful, or he ain't gonna have his goddamn job.
Right.
So when I was saying that, not to backpedal in any kind of way, I'm speaking on the team that I saw the last couple of years. If that's what they would continue to be, then that's what they'd have been 0-2 right now. I promise you. So they had to change their ways. They did some real good things when it came to running the ball, and I appreciate that. But they did that to take pressure off of the guy, right? The quarterback, the man behind center, Jared Goff. They had to do that because he's not that dude that just wants pressure, right? He's folded last year, end of the season, this season, toward the end of the season, he started folding under pressure. A good coach sees that and is like, you know what? Let's get this run game stronger so they can do the thing that they love to do, and that's play action, right? When him and Shanahan are motherfucking like fucking twins, right? They love that play action. They want to run the ball so they can run that play action and get the big chunk play. So yeah, I mean, you see what's happening, right? They're playing good ball, and that shit, that's a great for them. Can they keep it up, all right? Can McVay continue to change and can continue to add to his offense to make things different or look different so they can continue to have success, right? Do they have enough depth in their receiver spot? They just paid Woods. The cat, what's his name? Higbee, the tight end, had a hell of a day this past weekend. The kid, the rookie running back, doing phenomenal things. Do they have enough depth to continue up this you know what I'm saying, this high-speed offense? We gonna see, right? Seattle, Russell Wilson is throwing the ball 30-plus times a game, right? Something he ain't really did since he's been in the NFL. And what I think, Ben, is that they're trying to make a push for him to win MVP, right?
Oh, fuck yeah, they are, yeah.
Quietly, and without saying anything, without saying a word, they're making their case. They're laying their campaign out for him to be the MVP because he's never even got considered in MVP votes, which I think is fucking ludicrous. But here's what it is, right? Again, the West, right? The West. Mean and nasty, right? Attack. You're going to play some really fast football teams on the West, and it's attack. I think that's all three of us, from the Rams to us to Seattle. You're looking at teams that are going to attack you and not going to take their foot off the gas. So you better have your mind right when you come to the West, or you're going to get embarrassed.
Right. And it's funny, you mentioned with the Seahawks, how you kind of mentioned with the Birdgang O-line, they're kind of another line that's kind of lacking on certain talent, but you could tell their attitude has elevated as well. Because I mean, that's where Russell struggled last year, was getting he's a master of moving the pocket. We understand that, but getting the actual protection that he needs to run plays as designed. And hey, shout out to DK Metcalf because he's getting us some fantasy points, so we appreciate it. Finding them soft spots.
Yes,
indeed. And Chris Carson getting open, and then Russell dropping it in the bucket. Chris Carson getting some play out there in the field, not just the carry. So the West is a tough division. All right, look, let's get it over with now. Reviewers, I know you're waiting. Oh, Benny's going to cut a promo on the Lions. Here comes the bullshit. They're 0-2. I understand that Patricia's won 9 games in total, and Jim Caldwell went 9-7 and took them to the playoffs, but he got fired. I get all that part. Everything you could possibly say, I get. I don't think he's the guy for the job. They already have all the talent. It's not a talent issue. They're loaded with talent on both sides of the ball. It's an identity issue. When you come out on the first play of the second half and Aaron Jones runs the ball through the middle of the fucking line on the first play from scrimmage and takes it to the house like a high school game, that's not talent. That's you were put in the wrong position. That's a coaching thing. So I'm not here to debate anybody about fat-ass Matt Patricia and all that bullshit. I have a theory to throw at JB, actually, because you mentioned, it's funny, you were talking about the Clippers and the Falcons. I have a theory, JB, that the Falcons and the Lions are now officially the 2020 fucking NFL Spider-Man meme pointing at each other and shit, because they're both loaded with talent. They have a defensive-minded coach who is running the ship, who's on the hot seat, and they cannot fucking close games late. Am I on to something with this theory?
You are dead ass right now. They say in New York, you know what I'm saying? You are dead ass.
Dead ass beat.
Dead ass, son.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm right.
You're real. I mean, I can't even argue with you, bro. But again, you know what? This is the thing, Benny, right? And Kenyon Drake tweeted something earlier today. Woke up feeling 2-0 or some shit he said. And I basically said, congratulations, but keep your head down and keep working, right? Fuck accolade, you know what I'm saying? You win a game, you should expect to win a game. You learn from that win just like you learn from the loss, and it's on to the next game. The next game of the season, the biggest game of the season is the next game of the season. right?
True.
As a coach, I'm always going to preach that to my players. The biggest game of the season is the next game of the season, right? So every game that we play has to be the fucking Super Bowl. So, you know, we got y'all coming up, and y'all coming out here?
Yes, it's back there in the Red Sea in front of.
You were supposed
fans
to
or no fans? Are there fans at the Red Sea?
No, not this game. Next home game will be. So,
okay.
Yeah, I remember now because you were supposed to come out for the game, you know, before the whole Roman situation, so on and so forth. So Benny's supposed to be in Phoenix right now, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, again, it's any given Sunday, man. The realest cliche ever, right? It's real because any Sunday you can fall victim. Right, shit. Just look at teams that ain't supposed to beat teams, and like Jacksonville surprising the shit out of people, right? You know what I'm saying? And so you're like, man, but it's real. Any given fucking Sunday, anytime you step on that field, you got to play to win. If you don't, then you're gonna get fucking embarrassed. So, and I feel like that about my Birdgang. I don't want them to get too high because we 2-0. That's great. You know what I'm saying? We struggled in certain aspects of the game. We worked our ass off. We fought our ass off to get those W's. Continue to do that. Keep that attitude up, and I think that we got a coaching staff that's hungry and that can keep those guys' minds right. We got veteran guys on team. Fitz, Pat P, Chandler Jones. You know, so we got guys that are gonna make sure the guys stay humble, right? And that's all I want. That's all I need. Stay hungry and humble, right? We're gonna be just fine. So, and again, I think, Benny, and I've said it to my guy I work out with, my partner Cook, like. What we're watching right now in the first 4 games, we are actually seeing the preseason the way we want to see the preseason. We're seeing the preseason with starters playing, right? Because that's exactly what we're going through right now. Teams are trying to figure themselves out. Teams are trying to see how physical they can be. Teams are trying to see what works, what's not going to work. Really, who's going to really handle that business in live action? Because you really ain't had a chance to see that, right? The preseason kind of gives you that little first look. But now we getting it for the first 4 games. And you want to talk about some physical football, Benny? That Raiders game last night.
Yep.
The Saints. When I tell you that they look like the old school bully your ass, black hole, scary dude at the top of the motherfucking thing, all right, in Oakland with the fucking Legion of Doom spike shoulder pads on, Raiders, yeah, they look mean, aggressive. They look like the fucking Raiders, and the Saints look like they were just like, what the fuck have we gotten ourselves into? Drew Brees looked old and decrepit. Trying to push the ball down the field, look, whew,
yep.
Man, this shit just looked bad.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not taking nothing away from the Raiders, but Drew just did not look good. And the Raiders looked awesome. And Carr made great throws. And, you know, even though I think Ryan Clark on Twitter was trying to say that he's like, oh, no, I ain't gonna make a big play. I just take the sack. And I replied, I was like, well, you made enough plays to beat the Saints ass with a little aha gift. So you can say what you want to say about old Carr. He played a hell of a game. I don't think he threw an interception the whole game, right? The defense got after Breeze, stopped the run to a certain extent, enough. Kamara got off, did his thing with he's going to do that, right? So it's the preseason, man. We watching. We trying to see what's going on. If we'd have had a preseason, then I think that the Saints' approach would have been kind of different because they just saw that Drew Brees is really declining. You know what I'm saying? Like really declining, and that offense would be more run-oriented and more short play action pass or over the middle play action pass oriented, like a LA Rams or a San Francisco 49ers team. So you're seeing the preseason right now. And so we don't know what the second quarter of the season is going to bring, right? Because some teams are going to figure themselves out this week, right? So teams that right now, so this teams with 0-2, like writing them off, like, oh, y'all 0-2, what the fuck? Everybody writing them off. Shit, what's going to happen in the next 4 games? You know what I'm saying? Again, like I said, what if they figure themselves out Sunday, right? And then next thing you know, they're a different team going forward because it's the fucking preseason, all right? So I'm not going to get too high. I like the way my team looks aggressive-wise. I like the fact that they're aggressive. I love it. I love the fact that they're playing hard. I love the fact that our defenders are coming up hitting. And everybody's competing. Little man is really coming into his own. We got Hop doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Fitz ain't even got loose yet. Christian Kirk ain't even got loose yet. Like, we got weapons of mass destruction. You know what I'm saying? We just ain't even hit them yet. So, motherfuckers got to pack a lunch fucking with us. move forward. And I just need to stay hungry and humble with you guys.
Yeah, and I mean, with the Raiders, Josh Jacobs top 5 in rushing right now. It seems like they are getting more playmakers involved. Because I mean, I think that's what Carr was missing. He just needed some options. Because I don't think anybody is expecting Carr to really extend plays and thread the needle and kind of get a play downfield when he needs it, like a Rodgers or somebody, or Russell Wilson, someone of that caliber. But when he has all these different weapons and they can run some creative sets, to me, that's kind of where I was kind of wrong about the Raiders, because I feel like now that Gruden way, it's setting in a little bit. As you said, will people figure them out? We'll see. And I mean, to the Saints side, Michael Thomas wasn't there. He wasn't finding Emmanuel Sanders, so all that shit made him look especially old. But the Saints could come on. The Saints could start to come on late and figure it out as well, especially if they stay healthy and other teams don't. So we'll see. But folks, stick around for us and check us out tomorrow on Instagram at JB and Benny Blue. That is where we are doing Savage Picks. We're going to be doing that for week 3, and that's it, Mr. Dr. Jeremiah Bridges.
Well, before we go, we gotta talk about our week 1 and week 2 picks. You know what I'm saying? We can't leave the people out on that. Right?
That's what we're gonna do on Instagram Live. We gotta give them a teaser, baby. That's it.
Is that what we're gonna do on Instagram Live? Oh, okay. I got
you. We gotta give them the breadcrumbs.
Okay, I got you. Hey, look, I'll just work here.
Hey, man, you're a 50-50 partner, damn it, and we're gonna give the people everything that they need on Instagram Live, because we want to make sure you guys are fucking with us on this, because we like to be able to fuck with you guys in real time. You can drop in the comments who your picks are. You can really engage with us while we're making the picks, and then we can recap them on these episodes. So, Dr. Bridges, any final thoughts for the reviewers before we get on up out of here?
Hey, spread love, register to vote, so we can get motherfucking pumpkin spice latte the fuck up out of office. All right, perverted motherfucking daughter kissing
with a daughter smooching,
14-year-old bitch fucking disgusting motherfucker out of office. Right, and like I said, I ain't saying Joe Biden no better, but at least he's qualified to run a fucking country, unlike this fucking douchebag that all you silly motherfuckers decide to put on. All right, so other than that, man, again, spread love, UNITY. Shout out to Queen Latifah. You know what I'm saying? We need more love in the world. Spread it like fucking mustard. All right, spread it like mustard.
Yeah, more viewers. We love you. So please tap in with us. JB and BennyBlueReview.com are on all streaming platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to check out all the great content on there. And we are on all social media platforms at JB and Benny Blue. And that's it. This has been the JB and Benny Blue Review Podcast. And until next time, we out. Peace. Yeah.